Hey guys. Well, had no choice. My back brakes started sounding like metal on metal, which they were, and I had to pull this in and do some mechanic work. So, getting into this, decided, well, I'll just change the rotors and pads, which turned into finding out my parking brake cables were worn completely through, rusted, which led to finding out the parking brake cable lever that goes inside of the little, it's almost like a wheel cylinder that's packed with grease. Pulled that out, pulled those little deals off, and the grease was like shoe leather in those. The little boot on the back was completely torn away and had probably been getting water in there for years. So, and dirt and everything else. So, it was time for a major overhaul. And so, I kind of went about things the wrong way. I didn't realize you could buy a whole kit that has the rubber boots, that has the little, these little deals here. That's all your hardware for this little guy right here. So that boot comes through the back. And so, and there's the little lever. But you have to take all this loose to get that little boot out of there because they sandwich it in between the dust plate and this. So, yeah, like I said, lots of work. So I didn't realize that, and then when I got that, I got it home and didn't realize it didn't come with the rubber dust boot, which is pretty important. You know, that's kind of the thing. You don't want a bunch of crap getting in here, which messes with this and the whole thing. And here's one of the cables. Like that. It's just both of them ate through to the metal. So those are done. What else? So yeah, I ordered the parts, and so they should be in tomorrow. The cables for that. The little dust boots, they were like $6.99. I ordered them in separate, which I found out you can buy the whole kit because these brakes come with the these deals here, which there's supposed to be a pad on each side. And that one's completely missing its pad, so I bought brand new ones of those. And new calipers and pretty much new everything. Minus the dust shields and stuff like that. And if you take these dust shields, you can buy dust shields that come in pieces where you don't have to pull the axles, but these weren't. These were factory. So to take these off and replace them, you'd have to pull your rear end, C-clip, pull this out, pull all that off, and all that. I don't want to do. And those dust covers are fine. So yeah, if you're wondering where that is, it's got moved up. That's still in here. So we're tight quarters right now. Hope you guys had a good Christmas. We did. My family was here. My son and his kids were here for a full week. And so we did lots of family stuff. So I didn't make any videos. I wasn't out here very much. So, but yeah, I hope 2020 is better for you guys than or 2019. It wasn't that great for me in 2020. I hope is a lot better. I lost a lot of people. My mom just died. My wife's father died. You know, my Aunt Betty that I've been taking care of, she died in 2019. So lots of death, lots of funerals, and I don't know. lots to think about. It gives you a lot to think about for sure. So anyway, so here's the new, and they didn't come like that. Obviously, they're just bare steel and aluminum. And I painted them because that's what I do. And I plan on keeping this truck until it completely rusts out, probably. No, I'll replace all that too. I don't have any reason to get rid of this thing. The motor's probably got 120, 30,000 miles on it. I replaced it 120, 30,000 miles ago. And so, yeah, you know, however long it lasts, I'll just keep repairing, you know, replacing body panels. So, oh yeah, my Christmas present to me, these Lucky Blocks. They are really thick. They still flex. However, they'll flex and they won't, like some of the thin ones, I could tell when I was sanding, I'm only sanding in 2 places, and that's where my hands were. The rest of it wasn't really contacting like it needed to on some of the really thin blocks. So I think that's like a 1/4 inch thick. That's a 1/2 inch thick, and they make one that's 3/4 of an inch thick, and that one doesn't, I guess, flex very much at all. I don't know exactly how long these are. Maybe 32 inches. I don't remember, but they're going to be perfect for this big square body vehicle to get this thing really straight. So pretty excited about that. They sent a free nib block when you ordered. So we'll say free. I mean, you probably pay for it in the. And then, of course, these have the little handles on them where you can grab a hold. The other ones don't, and so it's harder to get a hold, you know, have a hold on them. Now, this one flexes like if you're going to have, you know, a round area. And like I said, these flex a little bit, but not much. So that'll be perfect for hoods and doors and pretty much everything, really, on this vehicle, anyway. Oh, I was going to show you this, how these are sandwiched in here, if anyone cares. If anyone has to replace this boot that's been blown out. I've already taken these bolts out. That was fun. So this should just come loose. So when that comes loose from that, you can break this loose from that, and then you can get to your little boot, because like I said, it is sandwiched up underneath there. So the best of I can see, let me see, something else is hanging. Yeah, see it there? So it's literally sandwiched in between there and bolted down. I could be wrong in saying that you could install it from this side maybe somehow and press it in there, but I don't think so, because the way that's made, you can see, if that shows up, you can see that there's, well, I can only go so far with that, but you can see that's indented in there, and that goes around it. So you literally have to take these 4 bolts out, which they were red Loctited in, which is smart. You can see a little piece of the red Loctite there maybe. So anyway, there. You still not gonna be able to see that. Anyway, so let's take my word for it. That you got to pull that little boot out. And it was pretty crispy. So I've got to clean all this stuff out real good, and then re-grease it and do all that. These were my pads and my rotors. The reason I didn't, you know, I thought, well, what happened to the, why didn't I, you know, you usually have squealers on them, right? The squealer rusted off. So that little guy right, I know the camera's not wanting to focus, but that little guy right there is your squealer. Well, it's pretty well gone. So I got no warning until I heard, and I was like, oh, sounds like metal on metal. That's exactly what it was. So anyway, yeah, I knew pretty much everything, and so hopefully I'll get these done. I have to go back to work Friday, so I am without a vehicle right now. So I'm just hanging out in the shop. And I will be replacing that. Not sure when. Probably needs to be soon. That's the inner. If anybody ever wanted to see inside of what happens in here, I could give you maybe a quick explanation. So these trucks are notorious for water getting in between the inner and outer panel here, and they'll bubble up real bad right there. If no one knows, there's 3 holes, and again, you may not be able to see that, but there's 3 holes in there, and they usually have plugs in them. I didn't put the plugs back in because I actually clean these out. I blow all the dirt and dust and crap and it gets in there out. But those stuff gets in it and sits in there and eventually rots this out. What I did was just patched in a panel here. They make patch panels, but I made my own on this one, and I've got a video way back if you want to see how that worked out. But so the cab corners will rust out and the rockers will rust out. So what happens, in my best opinion, is that center brace that runs all the way across there is hollow, and it goes all the way through, and so you can see water can get in there, water can get in here, water can get all over the place. And so there's several holes in this thing where they can get in there. Well, for me, water should be able to just drain out of here and be fine and not ever get into this panel. So I got to looking and I was like, well, why in the world are these all rusting out? This is not. So everything is going in and dumping into the rocker panels. Well, if you look right in here, that's where that actually dumps. So anything that gets up in there dumps into your rockers, and it rusts your inner and outer rockers out. And that's what every one of these trucks are notorious for, that. And so I thought, when I fix this one, why not cap that off? Like, I don't know, weld a piece in there to where nothing can get out. So when the water does get up in the little hole here, that hole or whatever, and the salt and whatever brine gets in there, it'll just drain out here, and not come out into the sheet metal, which is another thing I'll tell you. I replaced that side over there about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's starting to bubble, starting to pit again already. But I put what they call slip-ons, I guess. And so what it is this, and it comes up to about here, and you basically just butt weld it, or you can lap weld it, whatever you want to do, and then you weld your spots here and whatever. So that's what I did to that one. And I did another truck for a guy, and I actually did the full rockers that go all the way to the top and everything, and that seems like that would be your way to go. So anyway, kind of give you a quick look inside of what that looks like. And like I said, I'll have to replace the whole inner rockers assembly panel, the outer and everything. And so the best I can see, and I don't think there's a square here, but I don't think it goes through. No, it doesn't. So your only spot under here where that is actually
coming out is that one, those two spots, and it comes out there and it just starts eating. And it'll run all the way, you know, starts, like I said, it's really bad here. It's almost like a fire. You can always see where the point of origin is. It's always worse, like the charge deeper on the point of origin. The rust is way worse here. It's eating through, move all the way down. Well, it gets up in here, so it'll rust these out, and it'll just keep climbing. That's why I cut this off, cut it away, because I don't know. It was all hanging and pieces were falling off. It was bad. So anyway, I didn't mean to go on that tangent, but I don't have anything else to do. I don't have a car, so I can't go anywhere. I'm pretty much done with this until I get more parts. So I thought I'd give you a quick update of what's going on. I need to get this, as soon as I get this done, I'm going to get back on this. And I'm pretty sure that's primer. I said the other day, which I kind of didn't make myself clear. I sprayed this primer 10/29 of 19. 2 days later, I checked it and it had shrunk that much. Now, today is December 31st and it still hasn't shrunk anymore. It's exactly the same size as it was. That's what made me think that that's some kind of hybrid or poly high build. They don't call it the poly, but it just doesn't shrink like the other stuff that I've ever seen. You know, it is pretty brittle. We talked about that, but you're not going to want to put it on bendy parts. So yeah, so there's one, and you can see it doesn't shrink a whole lot. So my thoughts are that's probably done shrinking. No, I don't, you know, maybe it's micro shrinking still, I don't know, but anyway, that's it. I've talked long enough. So yeah, I got to get this thing back on the ground, and so I can have a way to get around. You can see mine's peeling too, doing the same thing that his Jeep was doing. All the clear coat's trying to peel off of it. It's been a good truck. It's, what, 19 years old, so it's pretty good. It needs a facelift, needs a paint job, needs new wheels. Tires are good, but the wheels, these wheels are, this is plastic dip I put on like 10 years ago. I mean, it's not supposed to, you're not supposed to leave plastic dip on that long. But I just thought I'd try it, and I ended up leaving it, and they're really dirty, but yeah. So plastic dip will last for a really, 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 really long time. My thought is it's going to be really, really, really hard to get this off when it comes time, unless there's some kind of new solution that just dissolves it off, which would be great. But these wheels are junk, old, so I probably need to get new ones. All right, I'm done talking, and hope you guys, like I said, have a great 2020. And all right, see you.